Why are you supporting Israel? Don't push me.
Hey,
don't push me.
Back on the
I'm standing.
Get
I'm
by the
standing.
motorcade.
Huh?
By the motorcade.
Why are you supporting Israel?
Over there.
Hey, relax. I'm talking to the Prime Minister. Don't breach my rights. Why do you say Hamas is a terrorist organization? It's not a terrorist organization. No, they're Palestinian resistance. What about Ukrainian resistance? You're just bowing down to the Israelis. Why they can't fight back? They can't fight back. Shame on you, Trudeau. Shame on you. He stood with the Israelis, with the war criminals, the ones that are breaching international law, killing babies.
Well, to the blowhard off camera, screaming hysterically, here's why Hamas is a terrorist organization. You might recall October 7th, just about 5 weeks ago, more than 1,400 Israelis, innocent Israeli civilians massacred, more than 4,200 injured. 242, I believe, is the most recent count, kidnapped and being held hostage, presumably in a tunnel in Gaza somewhere, including what is now a 10-month-old baby, was kidnapped when he was 9 months old. You know what? I think that meets the benchmark of terrorism. What do you say, Tamara?
Well, it's a designated terrorist group according to the government of Canada. So that's why he's calling it a terrorist group. It doesn't make any sense to me that someone would be out there hurling these remarks at the Prime Minister when this information is so widely publicly available that maybe we could try to think up a question that's a little bit more intelligent and intelligible. It seems like nonsense clickbait to me.
Yeah, I wonder who the organization was there. And, this speaks to another thing, Tamara, that, as these pro-Hamas demonstrators get away with vandalism, with death threats, with calling for genocide, with smearing paint and graffiti on a business which, the only crime is it happens to be owned by a Jew, so therefore we're going to go all 1938 Berlin on that guy or gal. As law enforcement turns a blind eye, and as our political leaders turn a blind eye, and I'm almost certain that the politicians behind the scenes are telling the cops not to make arrests, they're getting further emboldened, and you're going to see an increase in physical assaults. And it wouldn't surprise me, and I hope I'm wrong, that you'll see somebody murdered, given the hysteria and the emboldenment and the fact that these people think they can get away with almost murder, so why not go that extra hurdle? This is despicable. What we are seeing now compared to what the Patriots and the Freedom Convoy went through, having their bank accounts frozen, being arrested, in case of Tamara Leach, being put into solitary, 39 days or something like that?
I think it was closer to 50 days.
50 days, yeah.
Well, solitary, no less, but she was jailed for almost 50.
So why the double standard?
Yeah, well, and there's no repercussion for these actions. And we've seen that repeatedly in Justin Trudeau's Canada, where you have these progressive, liberal criminal code adjustments, and especially, as with the catch and release protocols for the judicial system, where there's no recourse, there's no repercussions for your actions. And so you can just spew this kind of nonsense. You can be an actual criminal and be out on bail within 12 hours.
100%.
And I assume you spoke about it yesterday. I didn't watch the stream, but the Montreal school shooting.
Yep.
This is horrific.
Yep.
This is absolutely horrific to be taking place in Canada. And what I constantly kind of go back to is I say to myself, and if I wasn't blocked on Twitter, I'd check, but where's the anti-hate network? Right? We have a government-funded network that's supposed to condemn hate in Canada, and they've been pretty much silent on this file for, what is it? 5 weeks?
Oh, I'll tell you where they are. The anti-hate network head honcho, Bunny Farber, as I like to call him, he was called out on this. And where is the condemnation? And on social media, he responded. And it was basically, our focus is right-wing
Yes,
hatred
that's
groups.
right.
We wish we had the resources. We wish we... And Bernie Farber is a Jew. Bernie Farber's parents were Holocaust survivors. And you're going, oh, well, you know what? Because we're so obsessed with, I don't know, the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis, we just don't have time to deal with people saying from the river to the sea or gas the Jews. Is that not despicable? This guy is self-hating. That's what I say. Do we have that,
we have
Olivia?
the tweet here.
We do, eh?
Yeah, he was responding to someone, basically calling them out on their silence on this, and he says, "Antihate.ca focuses on the extreme right." Whatever that is. That is what it does. That's it. That's all it does. So it's not actually about anti-hate. It's just focusing on the extreme right. I wish we had the resources to do more. We just don't.
Oh, really?
And then he resigned, didn't he, after this? Wasn't there a change in...
Oh, I'm not aware of that. I hope so.
Don't take my word for that.
But Tamara, what research? Turn on the news. Go to one of these demonstrations. It's not that you need to establish a think tank and delve through reams and reams of material. Any weekend, you'll see this crap openly on display. And I want to tell you something about the political left. For decades, they have been obsessed with, like I said before, Klansmen, neo-Nazis. Hey, as well they should. Look, I'm not a supporter of that kind of vitriol and hatred. But in the meantime, they have inexplicably made alliances with the Islamists. These are people committed to wiping Israel off the face of the earth, to killing every Jew, and many on the left are indeed Jewish themselves. This is unbelievable, and if what is happening now in the streets of Western cities around the world is not a wake-up call to these people, i.e., you better change teams because the side you're on is going to be coming for you very quickly. I don't know what would be a wake-up call, Tamara.
Well, it looks like they did, and I'm speaking about the Anti-Hate Network, they did do one article on the shooting in Montreal. But yeah, I wanted to just touch on Bernie did step down as the chair of the Canadian Anti-Hate Network. They posted this on November 7th, so just last week. But apparently he stepped down on September 14th. I think that might just be, and this is my own personal inkling, that for optics, right? Because they've been so silent on this file. Bernie Farber apparently stepped down on September 14th, but they didn't post it until November 7th. That seems a bit odd to me. But anyway, he's been replaced by Sue Gardner, who was unanimously elected as our new chair. And so since that time, they've published one article on the shots fired into 2 Jewish schools overnight. And I think that one was also from last week. Do we have a date on that one? Can we show it on screen? November 9th. So within 2 days, they have a new chair. And now all of a sudden, they have one article on these incidences.
This is a fascinating chronology because it says in the article that he stepped down September 14th.
Yes.
And then it's not announced until November 7th. And if you look at the chronology, that might be just a couple of days after he said that idiotic tweet.
Yes.
That we, hey, Both, what are you going to do? We just don't have the resources to go after these, pro-Hamas people. We got to focus on extreme right-wing terrorism.
Yep.
I think maybe that was the catalyst.
Good point. Yeah, I didn't check the date stamp on that tweet. And I think because the vast majority of us are blocked by the Anti-Hate Network, who actually seems to be responsible for some hate. If you follow
are you kidding?
Karima Saad, I think is the pronunciation of her last name.
Yes.
Yeah, she's had it out with some of the anti-hate pundits. So Anyway, there's
Yes.
a whole Pandora's box there when you get into antihate.ca and what they're actually doing and whether or not they're actually anti-hate, which looks like more and more. In fact, they're not. I mean, he admitted it. The chair, who's now stepped down, admitted it himself. They're not about condemning hate. They're just about scrutinizing the extreme right. If anyone can define the extreme right for me, please do that, and let me know where you find the extreme right in Canada, what kind of encompasses it, who is the extreme right. I'd love to know more about that.
Yeah, I think the definition, Tamara, is if you are slightly right of mousy tongue, you are a member of the extreme right.
That's a clip from the Rebel News Daily Roundup, which runs weekdays from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, and it features an array of rebels providing commentary and feedback on the newsiest news items of the day. Sometimes it's myself, Tamara Ugolini, our editor-in-chief, Sheila Gunn-Reid, and our mission specialist, David Menzies, alongside your other favorite Rebel personalities. If you join us through Rumble, you can give us what is called a Rumble rant, and through a small monetary donation, you can have your comment read on air by one of us. Whether it's a tip or your opinion, we always love hearing from our viewers because without your support, we couldn't do the work that we do. So thanks for your support, and we'll see you on the Daily Roundup from 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern on weekdays. See you there.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in downtown Toronto. And I got to tell you, folks, next March 23rd to 30th to be precise, we are going on a Caribbean cruise. Can you imagine that? And a lot of your favorite Rebels will be there, such as Sheila Gunn-Reid. We got Alexa Lavoie, the big boss man himself. Of course, he'll be there. Ezra Levant. And how about this? How about this for the cherry on the sundae? Tamara Leach, Canada's #1 freedom fighter. She'll be on that boat too. And look at the itinerary. We're going to be going to Half Moon Cay in the Bahamas, and then we're going to jazz it up in Ocho Rios, Jamaica, and then there's Georgetown in the Cayman Islands, and finally Cozumel, Mexico. Can you imagine that? If you want more details in terms of getting aboard the ship, go to rebelnewscruise.com. That's rebelnewscruise.com. All the details are there, the departure dates, the costs, and you know what? This is not just a fun-filled getaway. This is a way in which Rebel News raises some revenue. Unlike the mainstream media, we don't receive a nickel of government funding, nor would we take it if ever offered. So it's win-win. Enjoy yourself in the Caribbean and Mexico, and also support your favorite online news channel. So that's rebelnewscruise.com. I hope to see you aboard.